Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. I'm Peter. In today's episode of the FX Impact M4 series, I have mounted the brand new TRS top rail from Saber Tactical. And because of the unique design, I hope to improve accuracy and to reduce a potential point of impact shift. This will happen because the TRS rail is a bit thicker than the standard, it's longer, and because it has this clamp that holds the barrel in place. Today I'm at my usual forest range and I've set up the target at 100 yards. The wind is actually pretty strong, coming from the south, but it doesn't matter because from that direction I'm covered by thousands of pine trees. Temperature is pretty low, actually just a few degrees above zero, so that's why I'm wearing both the beanie and my down jacket. I'll perform the test over 2 days. The first day I'll shoot with the standard setup, so with the standard top rail from FX, and on the next day I'll shoot with the TRS rail from Saber Tactical. I'll shoot 16 groups of 5 shots on each day, so this is how the target will look. I've even numbered the targets here, and this is for siders, or I won't shoot siders. I'll just use it as warm up. And when I'm done shooting these, I'll change them and put these number 3 and number 4. When I'm shooting, at least on one target, I'm not adjusting the scope at all, because then this whole search for point of impact shift would not show in the proper way. So shooting 4 targets, I can see where the center of the groups is, and then moving on to the next, I might do a little adjustment to the optics, but not necessarily. I will not touch the tune at all throughout the whole session, so that's why it's not like what can you call it, a 100% accuracy test, because usually when shooting so many groups in a row, 16 groups, I would do some fine tuning along the way, so the accuracy that you see in this test is not perhaps as good as it could be. So I just hope to shoot some decent groups anyway, and say I could have done a lot better if I just fine-tuned it along the way. But anyway, this is both for looking at the point of impact shift, and to some degree also to see if the TRS rail improves accuracy. But let's start out with the standard setup and punch in some groups. I'm using the 16 grainers from SAN and shooting them at around 972 feet per second today. I actually considered other slugs for this test, and not only did I consider it, I actually took them through the test in the exact same way as I'm doing here without the TRS rail. The slugs that I was testing was the 16 grainers from H&N and the 20 grainers from SAN, but the best consistency was found in the 16 grainers from SAN. That's more than pretty good. It is now 1 day later, because immediately after I stopped shooting, it started pouring down and I didn't want to do any filming in the rain. So the group you just saw me shooting was this one, this beautiful little 19mm group here at 100 yards, and I would say that was pretty okay. Looking at all the targets here, let's leave the accuracy for now and talk about point of impact shift. I would say if you are really skeptical looking at these groups, you can say that yeah, the groups are moving a bit around, but I would say that more or less this is what you can expect when shooting a 177 at 100 yards. So not really an issue with the M4 with the standard rail. So now let's move on and get the new top rail mounted. I'll show you how to do it right here. Now it's time to install the TRS rail here on the M4. Usually when I mount new stuff on my gun, people ask me, could you please show me how to install it? And I'm telling you in advance, I am no airbox, and I'm not very skilled at showing how to do this. So if you wanna skip this part, you can just go to this place on the timeline, and you'll get rid of me sitting here being all clever, or at least trying to be. But anyway, let me show you the rail. This is how it looks, and when you receive it, this bubble level here is not installed. It's just two tiny Allen screws. You also have this this clamp for the barrel, and you have these two magnets here. So I'll just go right at it. I already loosened this. Oh, and by the way, I actually decided to get this nifty little fella here. It's a cheek rest from Saber Tactical as well. I actually posted somewhere that I was installing a cheek riser. That was a mistake. It was a cheek rest. So yeah, also installing this, and the reason for installing this is because it looks cool. Nothing more. It just looks cool, and if it looks cool, I want it. So putting this aside, and then starting to loosen the bolts here on the old rail. When you have loosened the bolts, you just take off the old rail and put it aside. But be sure to leave the bolts in place, because they need to go in exactly in the same order as they are on the old rail when you install it on the new one. What you didn't see me you didn't see me take this one off because I have the front support from the barrel tensioner system. I haven't tightened it down, so actually I could just go with the old one or with the standard one, but because there are some pins in the standard front barrel support, you need to take those out to make it fit the TRS rail. Now it's time to install the magnets here. What these magnets does is that they prevent the cocking arm from going forward if you're like shooting PRS or something and have the gun in a cock position. Then installing them here on the TRS rail, you need to insert them into the holes here in the rail. You can use some super glue. You can also use some thread lock. That's what I'm using. Just a tiny little dot of it, not too much, just to make. And be sure to put the right magnets in the right hole. And before mounting the rail, I like to make sure that everything here is looped up, and just checking it actually looks pretty good. And now just mount the rail. There. Beautiful. And now take the screws. Just so, and now with the whole thing tightened down, it's time to install the cheek piece. I need to use the original screws, 4 of those. So, and now with the whole thing tightened up, it's always a good idea to make sure that the cocking arm is running freely and there's no problems here. And next up is installing this barrel clamp, and it is a bit of a tight fit, and it's supposed to be a tight fit because this is what prevents the barrel from vibrating. Don't make them like super tight. There's no need for that. Just a little tug. That's well enough. And actually, I ordered separately an additional barrel clamp, and I didn't install it on purpose for this test because I want to see how the system works without me fiddling with anything out of the ordinary. So this clamp will go on later to see if there's a difference. One thing I forgot to mention is that the TRS rail comes with this this extender. This is if you are using a 600mm barrel, and what I also forgot to mention is that this is the standard, and there's also there's one called, I believe it's called the compact. This is made for a 700mm barrel, but if you install this extender for the shroud like this on your 600mm barrel, it will just pop out here and you can mount your moderator. So the standard version of the TRS Rail is both for 600 and 700, and if you are running a 500 or even shorter barrel, you'll need the compact. There's another thing I want to address, two seconds, and that is simply because I know that there will be somebody asking, and I know this because I had the question myself: how thick is this rail compared to the standard? So if I'm measuring here, it is 12.75 millimeters. I don't know what that is in inches or yeah. And the measurement of the standard is 8.17. So this is actually quite a bit thicker than standard, and this is exactly what is supposed to make the gun more rigid after installing the TRS rail. The old one didn't have this this piece here; it stopped here. So now with the whole thing being one piece and being so thick, it is gonna make the gun more rigid. If it's necessary, well, we'll see in the test, but anyway, it is thicker, and now you know. The weight of the TRS rail, including the clamp, is 704 grams, including not including the screws, and not including the cheek piece either. And the weight of the standard rail with this piece in front, just now comparing it to standard and with this Picatinny rail, that is 423 grams. So just below 300 grams heavier now, which is perfectly okay, because when shooting bench we do like to have a heavy gun. Now the only thing left is to mount the optics again, and then of course the moderator here, and that is how my baby looks after installing the TRS Rail from Saber Tactical. I don't want to shoot more today, but I have to. That's amazing. Okay, once again a little data to process. The group that you just saw me shooting was this absolutely stunner, 13mm group here at 100 yards, and I can honestly say it's been a while since I shot a 13mm group. But let's take a look at all the groups, and let's first talk about the point of impact shift. Looking at target number 1 and 2, you can see that the groups are just a little below and actually pretty well centered on all 8 groups. So on those 2 groups, on those 2 targets, I would say that there's no impact shift worth mentioning. And taking a look at groups number 3 and 4, I will say that I did adjust the height. I gave it 1 click up so that you can see the groups on target number 3 and 4 are actually pretty well aligned in the height, but it did move slightly to the left, and that's at least on target number 3 and the first 2 on number 4. Yeah, overall conclusion of point of impact shift after mounting this, I would say it's not really worth mentioning, because my definition of point of impact shift is that when you move from one target to another, then it will start to, this is not what I see here. So let's talk about accuracy. On this one, yeah, the best average accuracy was on this 3-shot thing, but since there's only 3 groups, I'll take the first one, and it had an average group size of 21.5 millimeters, 4 groups in a row at 100 yards. I would say that is pretty spectacular. So yeah, let's move on and go into the conclusion. Now let's draw a conclusion. Should you buy and mount the new TRS Rail from Saber Tactical and mount it on your M4? Well, let's go into it. Let's first talk about this point of impact shift. This is perhaps the main reason why I chose to install it. And shooting the groups that I shot yesterday, I would say it wasn't really too detectable. I've had much bigger problems with point of impact shifts earlier, but I hate to admit this, but it was much worse when I shot the gun with the barrel tensioner system. After I mounted the shroud, it actually kind of disappeared. So looking at the groups that I shot yesterday, once again, I would say, yeah, as I said before, there might be just a little bit of impact shift, but not really all that much. But looking at the groups that I shot today, anyway, even though it wasn't too bad yesterday, I would say that there is an improvement from after installing the TRS Rail. So if you want to consider mounting this because you want to get rid of your point of impact shift, you'd have to be kind of picky, because the standard M4 does a really good job if you just shoot with the shroud. So yeah, there's a it might be a little bit better, but it's not all that much. So now let's talk about accuracy. Taking the best 8 groups of the first 4 targets from yesterday, it gave an average of 23.25 millimeter in average. And looking at the groups from yesterday again, I chose groups at the size of 23, 19, 22, 20, 3 times 25 and 127 millimeter group, and an average of that is 23.25 millimeters. The groups that I shot today, for those I chose group sizes of 13, 15, 20, 22, 19, 22, 25 and 26, and that's an average of 20.25 millimeters. So me being the nerdy person and the one who cares about millimeters, there's an improvement in accuracy, even though this video is not about accuracy, but still there's an improvement in accuracy of 3 millimeters per group in average here at 100 yards with 16 grain sand. And I would say that is definitely something. So if you're considering changing your standard rail for a TRS rail because of the accuracy, of course it's up to you, but for me, I would make the change if I knew that this was the improvement. And on top of that, yesterday I shot just one group below below 20 millimeters. Today I've shot 3. And this is what I determine accuracy by. That is, as nerdy as it may sound, how many groups can I shoot below 20 millimeters in one session. And shooting 3 today, it's been a very, very good session. And I believe that on a day that is a bit less windy, the wind is actually from a pretty good direction. You know, the forest, it's very thick. I don't know what you call it, but there's a lot of forest in the direction of the wind, but still some wind does come through, and I could feel it at some points while shooting. So compared to yesterday where there was no wind at all, and today where there is wind, I still have an improvement of my average group size of 3 millimeters. That makes me want to buy the TRS Rail, and that's all I need to say. That's my conclusion. So I hope you enjoyed this video. So until next time, take care and shoot safe.